Christmas and season's greetings. I'm Ariana Kelland, and here at CBC Newfoundland and Labrador, we like to celebrate the holiday season by remembering Christmases gone by. We really hope that you enjoy this program and that it brings back some fond memories. Our first story is from the summer of 1999. Yes, the summer of 1999. It was July, and the crowd in Mount Carmel wanted to give tourists a year-round taste of Newfoundland traditions. So they introduced a tradition of their own, summer mummering. Here's CBC reporter Deborah Collins.
He's either 6 months early or 6 months late, but Santa has shown up at the Salmon Country Manor. Christmas in July, with all the trimmings: turkey, cranberry sauce, peas pudding. Tourists in a time warp and loving it.
Well, I could eat it any time of year.
It was good, eh?
Yes, it was very good. Yes.
Anything different about this dinner?
Yes, a few things. We don't have cabbage with our Christmas dinner, and I had never had peas pudding, which was quite a novelty for me. And as a matter of fact, I had no idea what it was, although I did remember the song as a child, peas pudding hot, peas pudding cold.
I don't get up here in the winter, so this is my summer and winter both, and I'm enjoying it tremendously.
Marvelous, lovely. Best time I've had for a long time.
It's all kind of surreal in the sweltering summer heat, but everyone is into it, including local musicians and storytellers.
There is a method to this midsummer madness, and it has to do with one of Newfoundland's most popular winter traditions, mummering. 12 days of merry masquerading at Christmas, an ancient tradition that most tourists never get to see. So this summer, it's season's greetings from Salmon.
Don't seem like Christmas if the mummers ain't here.
Linda Nugent's a school teacher in Calgary. She's taught her students about mummering, but she and her husband Arnold say it's better felt than told.
Read about them, seen paintings of them, but no, I hadn't seen them before.
Ian Wallace has written a book that I use with my grade 5 class, and it's called The Mummer's Song, and he's illustrated it beautifully. So we've read about them.
What's it like to see them in person?
It was as I expected, yes. It was very entertaining.
This Miami doctor's last vacation was in the Amazon jungle, but he says Newfoundland is the best experience he's ever had.
As far as nature is concerned, there's no more beautiful place than this, the great variety and beautiful, beautiful countryside, but most important and most impressive are the people who are wonderful, friendly, good people, hardworking people, suffering people with a great history.
I think it's just absolutely amazing. This has just been one of the best trips we've ever had.
Why?
The traditions, coming back, my husband's from Newfoundland, and coming back and visiting his family. It's just been one amazing adventure after another.
Yeah.
Just ask Granny. She thought she'd seen it all. Now it don't seem like summer if the mummers aren't here. For CBC News, I'm Deborah Collins in Mount Carmel.
In Newfoundland and Labrador, the kettle is a symbol of hospitality and willingness to share. And it's the same with the Salvation Army. They put the kettle on just once a year for the month of December, and their ability to share depends on the generosity of others. Again, here's Deborah Collins.
The signs of Christmas are unmistakable. The glitter of decorations, the glazed look in shoppers' eyes. And everywhere you look, the army standing guard. Salvation, that is, armed only with a kettle.
Good evening, sir. Hey, thank you very much, sir. God bless you. Merry Christmas.
A small kettle that can make a big difference.
Just every cent that we get goes to help the needy. And we have a lot of people that are in need at this time of year. And so every cent that we get could make the difference of that extra toy or that extra meal, and that's what it's all about. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Collecting money in a kettle dates back more than 100 years. The kettles today are a little sleeker, a little safer than the old open pots. But the idea is the same.
If more than anything, I think it's sharing. It's sharing. The people share what they have through the kettles. It provides us with the resources then, and then we just become the instrument that God uses to distribute His love at Christmas time to others that are less fortunate.
All ready for Christmas? Nice and cool.
Almost.
Yeah, well, God bless you, and have a Merry Christmas.
Major Wavy Penny is an old hand at this kettle business. Her first time was 45 years ago in downtown St. John's.
I was posted outside Woolworths. I didn't ring a bell, may I tell you that. Some of them did, but I didn't ring a bell. But it wasn't in the heat of the building. It was outside on the street. Sometimes we were accompanied by music, 3 or 4 or 5 instruments from a band, and a little bit of singing. But for the most part, we stood there in the cold.
Today the stands are mostly indoors, more comfortable for everyone, at least weather-wise. Major Penny worries that the kettles themselves can cause a bit of discomfort.
I feel very sorry that some people seem to be intimidated. They feel that every time they pass a kettle, they have to give, and that's not so. That's not so. You know, if they would just in their passing give a smile and say, well, how are you today? You know, I think that's extremely important.
The kettles are placed at strategic points, in busy supermarkets, at liquor stores, at the foot of an escalator.
Hi, how are you tonight? I'm fine, thanks.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. For the most part, the kettles are going full steam for a full month before Christmas, collecting tens of thousands of dollars from young and old.
It's a privilege to come out and to share with people and to pass out the information we have. Thank you. God bless. Merry Christmas.
You don't have your postal code?
A1B2N8.
Got a good memory? You've got a good memory.
I'll be 86 now in January.
Oh, that's wonderful.
If you've ever wondered just where your donation ends up, this is it, the Salvation Army Christmas Depot. From the kettles to the kitchens of 5,000 people this year alone. These are Christmas hampers for singles and families alike. Inside each one, the makings of a full Christmas dinner. But to the workers here, it's more than just food for the body. It's food for the soul.
It's more than just giving them a toy bag or a gift or food, but showing God's love to people and letting them see God's love in action.
Okay, number 262, 65 rather.
Major Luann Barrow heads up this year's Christmas Depot. She says hundreds of families are helped every day. For our visit, most preferred not to show their faces. But the thank yous were from the heart.
Here you go, sir. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you. Happy New Year. Same to you.
Barrow says the Salvation Army coordinates the drive, but donors and volunteers make it happen. Toys from the Happy Trees, a school from the Avalon East School Board, and people of all ages, including 11-year-old Zachary Hines, who served as a special advisor on kids' toys.
You kind of feel a little bit nervous picking out toys, and you kind of think, what is this kid going to think when they open it on Christmas morning? And I believe that even though I have never met them, and I probably never will, I think I should still treat them as if they were some of my best friends that I'm picking it out for.
Like someone for whom you'd put the kettle on. Deborah Collins, CBC News, St. John's.
Christmas is magic for the young and old, and what better way to celebrate the season than bringing together young and old? That's what a school did in St. George's. It started off as part of a social studies course, and it grew into a long tradition. Doug Greer was the reporter on this story.
Enjoy. God bless you. Welcome.
One day a year, Mark Bennett's grade 5 class shifts to the Legion in St. George's.
It's nice to be able to get out with the seniors. You don't only learn from in school.
Old and young, grandparents, grandchildren, a pre-Christmas get-together.
It gives the children a good understanding about seniors and more things they can learn from them. They don't only learn in school, they learn from the seniors and their grandparents as well. So I'd say it's a wonderful thing myself.
I think it's very educational and I think it's fun.
This is really Christmassy.
I'm still here now. Yes.
Feed 180 people? It's quite an operation. It's been this way in St. George's every Christmas for the past 15 years.
Cranberry sauce.
It began when all grade 5 classes in the province started including seniors in their social studies classes.
You've got to remember, seniors are living history. Child reading from a history book, it's words. But when they can meet with the seniors of our community, and many of the things that are discussed in the history books, these people have actually lived. For example, we got a couple of gentlemen here who sail on the Grand Banks under sail. And when they start telling stories to these children about sailing days, history becomes alive, and that's what's important.
The Christmas dinner started as a way to say thank you to the Nans and Pops. And it still is that.
I'm waiting for the music to come up there now. I want to dance.
But it's grown into a lot more besides.
It's wonderful because you get to meet new people and you're involved with your grandparents and other seniors.
You get to meet the young people and get to know their ways and so on and so forth. Their way of life. It's quite different to mine in my day, but it's great.
And to get to see their teachers, and because as grandparents we don't go to PTA meetings, and we get to talk to them and ask them questions about our grandchildren. That's what they do in school.
But most of all,
it's fun.
Doug Greer, CBC News, St. George's.
This next story is a good one. In 2011, the St. John's Morning Show held its annual Gift of Song contest. The crew headed to Tiffany Lane for a musical surprise for Otto Tucker. But as it turned out, Mr. Tucker had a little surprise of his own.
Inside the lobby at Tiffany Lane, Brian Vardy is anxiously awaiting his dear old friend for what he thinks will be a regular coffee get-together. But his nominee has no idea what else is waiting for him downstairs.
He was my professor when I did my internship in Harlow in 1977. When he was only 19 years old, he went there as a teacher and a lieutenant with the Salvation Army. So he's had a history in Newfoundland, and he's failing a little bit, and I thought it would be only just and important to give him a boost, and he's going to be so pleased. He won't be able to believe it, I'm sure.
Dr. Otto Tucker, a recipient of the Order of Canada and the Order of Newfoundland and Labrador. Born in 1923, Dr. Tucker has churned his 88 years into countless stories and still openly shares his lessons and experiences with anyone who will listen. Dr. Tucker is visually impaired and has trouble hearing.
Dr. Tucker, Merry Christmas.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Well, we're surrounded by a lot of smiling faces here at Tiffany Lane. So would you like to hear a song from our carolers?
Oh, I love that.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright.
As luck would have it, Silent Night happens to be Dr. Tucker's very favorite song.
I'm lost for words. If I didn't know those few words, I'd be silent.
So, when the time came for the carolers to sing Dr. Tucker's second song, Tucker had another idea.
Want me to sing one?
You want to sing along? What are you going to sing, girls? Joy to the World. All right, let's do it.
Let me sing Silent Night with them again.
You want to do Silent Night again? All right, sure. Go ahead, girls.
Sleep in
heavenly peace.
Silent night, holy night, shepherds quake at the sight. It's too bad that we don't carry this through in our lives with every association we have, hey? We don't need only Christmas to pour out our love and our concern and our compassion to other human beings. Jesus, Lord, at thy birth.
Chrissy Holmes, CBC News, St. John's.
Do you remember the traffic cop at the intersection of Prescott and Duckworth Streets? Well, in 1988, students at a nearby business school decorated him like a Christmas tree and surprised him with gifts. The CBC's April Stevens was there too.
Frank Miller is a familiar figure at the corner of Prescott and Duckworth Streets in St. John's. His quick hand movements keep car and pedestrian traffic flowing smoothly. These students see Miller every day. They attend a business college just down the street. This afternoon, they had a surprise for Miller.
You had something to do with it. If I knew that, I would have let you go yesterday.
Ever been dressed up as a Christmas tree before, Frank?
No, not really. Especially not in the middle of the street in full uniform.
I guess it makes it kind of hard to direct the traffic.
Oh, it makes it a bit difficult, yes.
And what did the students give Miller?
Long johns and socks and a ski mask, I think, which he'll need. Standing out there in the cold. Fear he's gonna need this. Yeah, chocolates. What are the chocolates for? That's put fat on, so keep out, insulate.
But before Miller could open his gifts, he had to break up the traffic jam. It's back to work on his chilly corner. April Stevens, CBC News, St. John's.
Boxing Day. It's a traditional British holiday that is often misunderstood. So in 1993, CBC reporter Russell Wangerski wanted to know if people really knew the origin of Boxing Day.
So why is it called Boxing Day anyway? This can't be what it's all about.
Basically, how much boxing gear do you sell on Boxing Day?
Well, to go with history, not a big lot. I'll guarantee you.
Perhaps it should be called After Christmas Sales Day. The parking lot at the mall is packed. And inside, the place is papered with sales as merchants try for one last bite from the Christmas turkey. So far, sales are brisk, though the congestion is not up to the pre-Christmas standards. But what about the real issue here? Why is it called Boxing Day?
I have no idea.
I have no idea.
Boxing Day means a holiday. Obviously, it's no holiday today, but no, I'm not sure what the meaning of it is. Okay. Yep.
Finally, we get a little closer.
The church used to have a box on Christmas Day in the church, and after Christmas Day, they would give out what was in the box to the poor people. So that's why it's called Boxing Day.
Aristocracy used to give their gifts to their servants on the day after Christmas, and they traditionally gave them in boxes. And they would never give them like, today's idea of gift wrapping. It was always in boxes. That's the reason it's called Boxing Day. I was just curious.
That's almost the truth. The English tradition of giving gifts to the poor on St. Stephen's Day led to the exchange of boxed gifts and finally to the shopping festival we celebrate today. For CBC News, I'm Russell Wangerski in St. John's.
We head to Labrador now, where in the early 1990s, a grade 6 class in Churchill Falls began a tradition of collecting food to help a women's crisis center in Happy Valley Goose Bay. Well, years later, in 1999, those same kids were graduating from school, but not before they made sure their annual food drive continued. Here's the CBC's Tony Dawson.
As I'd like to call upon the two Santas, Ryan, who's our Santa in training, and
a tradition is about to be passed on. Two classes at Eric G. Lambert School in Churchill Falls are about to embark on a food drive for a women's shelter. It's Operation Santa's Sleigh.
This is our grade 12 year, and we've been doing Santa's Sleigh ever since grade 6. The time has come to pass along our Santa Sleigh bell to the Santa of the grade 7 class. So, if we could have the bell passed on to signify us passing on Santa's sleigh. All right!
With the help of the police, they split into two groups and visit every house in this small town.
We're collecting food for the crisis shelter in Goose Bay.
It all began back in grade 5.
Merry Christmas!
Those students were studying a unit in health, and they were doing family issues, basically, and from there we went into talking about family crisis shelters and so forth. So we went a little further, and we decided to make the thing come alive.
Inside Churchill Falls, we don't get to see a lot of trouble like that at Christmas. There's not like a lot of people without money, a lot of people without support. So that's why we decided to go to another community.
I got it. Okay, see ya.
Oh, this is the greatest time of year.
Yeah. For this Santa, it's the last year.
I'm glad that we've done it throughout the years, and we helped a lot of people and got a lot of donations, so I'm not really sad.
As the sleigh fills, the young grade 7s get caught up in the moment.
It's pretty amazing that people give so much food. That people give so much to people that don't have so much.
Hi.
Hi.
We're collecting non-perishable food items for Labor House in Goose Bay.
Okay, here you are.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks a lot, Merry Christmas.
Thanks.
Thank
See
you,
ya.
Merry Christmas.
But who says it can't be a little personal?
It's fun.
Why?
Getting rides around on Skidoo and taking breaks from homework.
The grade 7s in Eric G. Lambert this year are a big class. They're an enthusiastic class, I guess you could say, and they're going to carry it on, and hopefully when they get in our situation, they can pass it on once more.
For me, it gives me a chance to hang out with the kids and make some good relations with them. And it's one of the most unique ways I've seen to collect items for a food bank, actually.
The food will soon make its way to Libra House in Happy Valley, Goose Bay, 300 kilometers away.
The joy and relief the shelter will feel will last them for weeks to come. But the memories and the tradition these students started 6 years ago will last them a lifetime. Tony Dawson, CBC News, Churchill Falls.
Well, it's no secret, music and Christmas always come together during the festive season, especially here in Newfoundland and Labrador. We all know someone who can either play an instrument or sing a song. Have a look and listen to this school choir from Mary Queen of Peace Elementary in 1988, and you may even recognize yourself or someone you know.
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtails ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells,
thank you so much for tuning into our CBC Christmas special. From all of us here at CBC Newfoundland and Labrador, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.